Everything was a total mess from the very get-go.
Oh my goodness.
And it does remind me of what we had in Rio
2016.
2016. I'm going to speak for the Paralympians. They had very poor accommodation, and I think at some point they were stranded in Rio, and even getting the transportation coming back was a problem.
Were kitted in a way in which they covered themselves because in some of these sports, let's be honest, because a big part of the sporting audience is male, so women sometimes are pushed to dress in certain ways that some of them are not comfortable with.
Right.
But I think it's good to have,
Look cool.
like the kind of dressing that like the women who are not comfortable in wearing the very tiny stuff can have an option to wear something else. So right away. Now, Louis, let me come back to you. Like besides the Kenya team, like the events, what are your overall feelings about these Paris Olympics, compared to previous Olympics that you've watched? Louis.
Um, Everything was a total mess from the very get-go.
Oh my goodness.
And it does remind me of what we had in Rio
2016.
2016. I'm going to speak for the Paralympians. They had very poor accommodation, and I think at some point they were stranded in Rio, and even getting the transportation coming back was a problem. And by the time they even arrived back home, they were not given the stipends on time. Some of them did not even receive the stipends at all, and they almost gave
By
up.
the way, Rio waliishi ghetto. They were actually
Yeah,
moved from the village wakapelekwa kwa favela.
exactly.
All right,
And
Louis.
so in 2020 is when we had, I think, if you remember, Asiye Mohammed Sururu. That's now when she became popular with the rowing of the boat. She's also Paralympian. I think she lost both of her feet or something, and she's been supported by her family. Her auntie is the one who was taking care of her, and then her family is there. They're the ones who came together actually to fund for her going to Tokyo. Nobody cared about the Paralympians at that moment in time. The government did not really care much about them even getting the kits was a problem. But she happened to actually perform very well in 2020. So there was a legal battle that was going on for the last couple of years. And this year, as we're talking, actually, just this month, or is it this week, Safaricom have stepped in and they're sponsoring the whole entire Paralympian Kenyan team that are in Paris right now. They are not only just giving them money and supporting them with their transportation, funding for their accommodation and all that, they're also even giving them financial literacy and plus offering them stipends when they go back home so that they can actually be able to survive and continue participating in the sport of their choice. Now, that's an agreement between SAFCOM and the Paralympian Committee of Athletics in Kenya, which is kind of a good gesture. So I did want to paint the government body in a very bad way that maybe Kenya is not really bothered about these fellows. We have sponsors that are willing to help at their capacity, but there's some roadblocks here and there, of which they're all um, government kind of related, with corruption here and there from left, right, and center. There's somehow, some way, someone that wants to benefit from that opportunity. That has been the problem now that has actually also curtailed the other Olympians that we're already having over in Paris. So, for example, let me take a look at, or rather, let me try and bring this up when we talk about the Olympic trials. I don't know if any one of you guys are aware that majority of the men teams that went there did not actually go through national trials before they got selected into the Olympics.
What do you mean? Are you talking about the Kenya team, or are you talking about just overall people who went to the Olympics?
No, not overall, some of the teams. The 5,000 and 10,000 meter men did their trials in Prefontaine, Eugene, Oregon.
Okay, okay.
They didn't do it in Kenya.
So
They did
how?
not do it where they are used to their home turf, the humidity and the climate and the home ground, whereby they can be able to go ahead and actually perform well. They did not do it that way. They had to actually pay for themselves to go to Eugene. Remember, you are trying to go and represent the country. You have to pay for yourself to go there. The country will not even care about you. If you recall, the 10,000 meter race in Eugene, Oregon last year, was it last year or early this year, it had, I think, 12 Kenyans. And they're only selecting the top 3. All those other guys have to pay for themselves. How would you treat somebody that way and they have talent?
So I mean, this is very, very confusing, and this is actually very explosive, I would say, for the average person, because I had no idea that Kenya was conducting trials in another country. So basically, the athletes would know, like, if you want to be part of the Olympic team, you have to find your way to the Prefontaine Classic, and the government is not paying for you. You have to figure out how to pay for yourself to get there.
Yep. So you have to enter yourself into the Diamond League. Remember, the Diamond League is not funded by the government. Okay. The government will only pay for you at the Olympics, Commonwealth, and African Championships.
So if you sign up,
you're all by yourself. And before you actually get to qualify time that you can present to go for this kind of trials, you also have to show that I have ran here, I have ran there, I have ran here. So that's why you're finding people like Kipchoge. He didn't have to do anything. All the marathon runners did not have to do a marathon running trial. It's because they run all year round. They're running in these big city races. And with those big city races, their times are all out there and they're accredited and they're ratified. And so for the trials, there is no point for a trial. They just had to use, what do you call this? Like a wild, how can I call it? Just like a bucket. And they said, okay, fine. I think so-and-so has very good numbers. I think Kipchoge definitely is a champ. They had a problem trying to get somebody else. When they got in Mutiso remember, we have Kamuro, who is also very, very good. Remember, we have, I think, 2 other runners. There's one that won Boston and one that won Chicago.
Evans Chebet.
Yeah, there was Evans Chebet. He did Boston. How they ended up with Benson Kipruto, who lost terribly. The last 2 marathons that he ran, we don't know how he ended up there. Nobody really understands. And I had a debate with that a while back, but I didn't understand the concept behind it and how they did that. The 10,000 meter runners, 12 of them scrambled to find a position to come over to Eugene, Oregon in order for them to do the trials. But apparently only 3 were able to do so. On their way back, some of them were stranded. They had to pay for themselves. Some of those guys don't even have meals. I was funding one athlete in Eugene, so I know this.
Louis. This right here, I mean, I hope this information is gonna get to Onesimus Kipchumba Murkomen, because this is very problematic. So you're saying those three athletes, the ones who made it to Eugene, were the only ones who were eligible?
No. 12 athletes came to Eugene.
12 came to Eugene.
3 were chosen.
Yeah, 3
only 3 were chosen out of the 12. Yes. Now let me ask a question. Now these 12 who were able to make their way to Eugene, were they the 12 best, or were they just the 12 who were able to pay their way to Eugene?
The ones who are able to pay, and they believe that they have participated in probably other areas where they feel that they can be able to make the Olympic time.
So what you're saying is that maybe there might have been others who are able to make the Olympic time, but they could not afford to present themselves in Eugene.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility that the contingent that we sent out to the Olympics is not necessarily the best that we have to offer, but it was the best that was able to present itself for the qualifications.
Well, that is correct. Look at the lady, what's her name? Susan Ejoro. She goes to school in Eugene, Oregon.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's representing Kenya. She was right there. She was able to actually show her time, a showcase, because she was available.
Okay.
Yet we have other runners that can be able to smash those times. Look at how she got beat. She literally, I think, she came number 4, number 5. Then the last heat, I think she did really poorly. Yet we have somebody back at home, the courage, who can be able to smash that very easily. Her best time is even better than Ejoro's.
Oh, okay, Louis. This is more problematic than I thought it was.
But those are things that I guess Athletics Kenya or our whatever is it our Olympic committee and stuff like that, they need to they should be, because they have 4 years to do due diligence and get this right. And it's not like they don't know about these athletes. They know about those athletes. Those athletes are in Kenya. They're local. So it doesn't take a lot. And Louis is right. Why? To me, for one, I don't know why folks are being told to go to Eugene to do trials for Kenya Olympics team. It does not make sense.
When I tell you to go to Eugene to do trials for the Olympics teams, is because I know that you can go to Eugene.
Oh, so
why you specifically are going to Eugene.
And so the excuse that was coming out from Mr. Kimeu, I think is the one who is the head of something Athletics Kenya, some department. He said that Eugene has a high altitude, and that the individuals up there, with the high mileage and high altitude training from Kenya, we can be able to gauge them better. It made no sense at all. The reason why is because it beats that whole analogy. Majority of some of the fellows that could perform very well at Eugene, many of them come to Kenya or probably Ethiopia, but majority of them come to Kenya. This retired marathoner from England, he's from Somalia, but he used to run for England.
Mo Farah.
Mo Farah would spend most of his time in Etam, literally training, and he became a champion training over in Etam. And so you ask yourself, what do these people actually come to do back at home? Well, these fellows, they come at home to study what we do. They experience what we're doing. They come and realize that it's not so difficult than them going over to the high altitude areas like Albuquerque, somewhere in New Mexico. They could go over to Flagstaff, probably Arizona or Utah, and do the training. That's where Helen Obiri is. She's up in Colorado. It's a high altitude area. But why is it that our own Kenyan people back at home can still not be able to simulate the same? Is because these other fellows, they come, they see what we're doing, and then they add more to it, technology and science. Okay? And so that is actually what makes them get beat. So my argument was with Mr. Kimeu saying that, oh no, these guys, let them go over to Eugene. It's a high altitude competition and it's a high caliber competition. So whoever wins is going to be good enough for the Olympics.
Educated in the corruption.
Yeah, but look at it this way. So we have fellows in Kenya who are really good. We have a lot of good athletes in Kenya, but there are those ones who have not been exposed to go run outside, like maybe Ebenyo, who already was lucky enough to be spotted. He was scouted. He gets a chance to go outside and compete in a few other races. That's why he's been very popular. But there's somebody who is back at home. All he does is train so hard, nothing else but just to make it to the Olympics. The Olympics in Kenya doesn't pay. Yavi gets about 70 million Kenyan shillings, 65.7 million Kenyan shillings, just for appearance.
From Bahrain.
They'll sing for you at the airport, then you come back home. But what are they really looking for? These guys are looking for sponsorship and for scouts to actually get them out there. So when this person gets to run well at the Olympic trial, they'll pick them up. But they'll forget that we have someone who has had a track record like Ebenyo. Ebenyo smashed him and Sawe. They ran the half marathon, I think it was in which country? I don't remember, somewhere in Northern Europe, early this year. And they did really, really good. But just because Ebenyo tripped and he fell, he was not picked. They picked somebody who has done nothing but training literally the whole entire 2, 3, 4 years to make it over to the Olympics. The way they got to choose these fellows to represent the Olympics was disastrous. The names that I saw out there for the Olympics are not the names that I've been seeing for the last 4 years.
Wow, I mean, this is very sad. You know, one thing I used to think about track, because it's straightforward. Like when it comes to picking someone to do this job, that job, unaweza kudanganya, Ali is better qualified in IT than Louis, so mpatia Ali job, But like when it comes to track, it's a track. It's whoever finishes first. Mm-hmm. It's whoever who has the better times. Like it is very straightforward. Yeah. Like hata ball unaweza sema maybe tunaweza kupendelea huyu over huyu. atakamba, but with track it's so straightforward. But now with what Louis is telling us, this is a very sophisticated type of corruption that's being done to disenfranchise people who've been posting better times. And then we're here wondering, like, how come Kenya is not performing as well, not knowing that there's all these shenanigans that's happening undercover. But Louis, real quick, before we go to the other point, to Mika, to the other parts of the Olympics as we wrap up, what is in it for the people who are crafting these corrupt systems? Because I'm trying to think, what do you have to benefit if you're like the gentleman you mentioned, I don't even remember his name, or if you're Athletics Kenya, what does it benefit you to put across athletes that are not necessarily the best, or disenfranchise them and tell them, oh, your trials are going to be in Eugene, Oregon? How do I benefit? If I'm Athletics Kenya, how am I benefiting out of that? I'm trying to understand that part, Louis.
This is coming from the public domain, so I don't want to be quoted for it. But it is nothing short of cartels that are making money out of this, and nothing more.
So how are they making money? Is it that those athletes are paying them on the side, in order to be able to qualify for the Olympics?
Well, yeah, and definitely also some of them even get allowed to pass with some little mistakes here and there. Those ones that do not get to show up for out of competition testing, and which is meant to be, I think, governed when they're out of competition. I think it's Athletics Kenya that are supposed to be looking into that. I'm not very sure, so I don't want to be quoted again one more time.
Yeah.
But the result they call the Athlete Biological Passport Program.
Yeah.
And Kenya has not been doing very well when it comes over to that. What that Athlete Biological Passport does is they look at abnormal blood changes, and you have to be tested every so often. Okay, and these particular tests have to be done with the guidance of Athletics Kenya, and that person has to be, I think, licensed by World Athletics, if I'm not wrong. We have a lot of athletes that do not even really care. That's the reason why, like right now as they're speaking, a little bit just around after athletics, the Olympics, we have about 44 cases of out of competition doping cases right now in Kenya. You must have heard President Ruto talking about this the other day when he went over to Kelvin Kitum's funeral. He literally said doping is a problem. We need to go ahead and figure it out. Actually, it was Paul Tergat from Macron who was saying it in front of President Ruto that doping is a problem and we really need to go ahead and fix it. But it is a cartel, just like the water cartels in Kenya, just the same way that we're also having cartels with police recruitment and KDF recruitment in Kenya. Somebody pockets some money to try and squeeze you through. And that's the reason why you also find like Yavi, who was like my little favorite little girl, she felt like it was very difficult for her to be able to make it into the competitions, like the senior team, and she left.
Wow. Now, what benefit, because I'm trying to understand, like the science and the math of this. If I'm an athlete and I know, I probably, my time, I know there's so many other athletes who are better than me. And I know if I go to the Olympics, I know I'm not going to hit the gold. Maybe I might not even make it to the finals. What benefit do I have of paying someone in Athletics Kenya to squeeze me through to the Olympics? What's in it for me if I know my time
just
is
the
not...
name an Olympian is really huge. Unfortunately, we always have the good and the bad, or rather we have those ones that made it and those ones that did not make it. It happens. We have some Olympians around, even here in the United States, that are really living in conditions that are not very good. Some of them are in squalor, probably. I think there is one lady, she was very, very good in pole vaults. And right now she's living in a one-bedroom apartment somewhere in New York. I was hearing her story 2 days ago, which is kind of sad. There's another one, I think she works at a pizza store. There's another who's a mechanic. So, there's always good and bad. But the moment your name is an Olympian and you know how to maximize on it, you will get invited to very many other invites. You don't have to bring yourself. For instance, now you can, just tell them, hey, tell your coach or your manager, I would like to go to the Peachtree race in Atlanta. And you know that the prize money might be somewhere close to $10,000 if you win. You know the Peachtree Road race is not going to be having like the high heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you made it to the Olympics. Your name was in the Olympics. So on the Atlanta General Constitution, your name will be ringing all over the place. Oh, former Olympian, to also bring in more money to the Peachtree Road race. And by the time you come in, just appearance alone, they'll give you something small. When you happen to actually win because the heavy hitters are not there, you get something small. Next minute, you show up at some race in Mexico, you make some money as well, just because you have that name, Olympian. It's nothing to play around with. That Olympian name is huge. And so it's like it opens doors for you. And it's up to you now to go ahead and maximize on it on appearance fees.
Wow. Uno Mike.
And also endorsement deals. You get good endorsement deals.
And endorsement deals. Uno Mike. Easy V2. Like
Ali, you could have been an Olympian. Had I known been the type of person ya kutoa do.
But that's a problem. Mimi nikishatoa hiyo do, nimekuwa Olympian, nimeenda huko nikachapwa. And then some problem.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Sasa problem nikinata Peachtree race. Bado huko pia nitachapwa.
It doesn't matter. You're still an Olympian.
You're still an Olympian.
Bado utendelea, you still utendelea kuitwa na kualikwa.
You see the current 100 the former, not the current. Former 100 meter
Jacobs.
Jacobs.
Yeah.
Yes.
After the Olympics, he became a millionaire, and I think he didn't race for nearly, was it 2 years, 2 or 3 years?
He has not raced for 3 years because of injuries, but for just appearances only.
Yeah.
And funny enough, actually, Mika, I was listening to a session today on TV on the Olympic channel. Somebody said that does he still have some more life in him? Do you think he's going to be able to do well? It was actually Bailey who was talking about him.
Wow.
And the person who was being interviewed said that appearance fees, he's still going to make lots of millions.
And
he
with
might as well quit running.
Yeah, and with his performance in this past race, he has shown that the spark, that the ones that they thought that was gone or he didn't have, he showed it. Because if you look at the field, he was number 4. If you look at that field.
Yeah,
it was the difference between number 4 and number 3 and number 2.
It was inches. It was very small.
If a guy just hesitated, the other guy was number 1.
If you just breathe,
he's still marketable right now because
in fact he's the comeback kid.
Like another 2 years of running. Yeah. So he still has that. He still has that marketability, especially in the Italian market and everything. So he's good. So the thing is, just as Louis said, that title Olympian alone, that title Olympian is what, like, and in most countries they don't pay Olympians that much. It's just the endorsements that you get after winning that Olympic gold.
Yeah, and then hapa Slayer na Brown Chugo anasema Uno Mike leo umekuwa mpenzi mtazamaji.
Wow.
I've been listening to Louis. I mean,
wow.
and a lot has been running through my mind because this reminds me of like the pay to play system here set up for soccer.
Soccer,
it's pay to play.
It's pay to play.
So you're getting the best of the best of who
can pay,
who can
money.
pay.
Who has money.
Yes. Right. We had this discussion with Akina Lawrence Olum. Remember, and even Hillary. Like, we don't nurture talent. We don't. Mtu anafika high school, you're being introduced to rugby. I mean, if it's not even being introduced at a young age, you're already
coming
high
in
school.
late.
It's coming in late.
You're already late.
Soccer, we've been playing soccer. Tunamka tunaenda cheza ball.
Yeah.
Tunajua mazee ule msee ni mnoma, ile rounder iko na msee noma. We know that kwanza umsee. So even if you're, let's say, playing rounder versus rounder, unaenda mazee lazima tuchukue Ali leo.
Able to explain rounder Ali doesn't.
Oh, wase wa Nairobi West. Oh,
come on son. Come on, Sam.
Anyway, you can explain.
Ali anajua raunda.
Na raunda si raunda.
Just to,
Si like game ya
just to
raunda.
actually add one thing on that. There's
Yeah.
this young girl, her name is, I think, Mary Chakniano. She was in class 7 or class 8. Last year, she ran barefoot in Wasinkishu, and she won the 3,000 meters steeplechase. It
Ooh.
actually won in really good time, barefoot, a very young little girl. So I think the area MP or politician came to congratulate her, bought her a pair of shoes, offered to pay for her school fees, and bought her parents some food and some nice little presents, and walked away. That kid was left back at home with no one bothered to pick her up and go nurture that talent that is exceptionally, really, 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 really adorable, you know? So picking up on young talent, I'm a soccer fan as well. I knew Theo Wilcott when that kid was barely 10 years old.
Wow. Yeah.
That's the problem that we're also having with Kenya as
Yeah.
well.
We let. Remember, Olum said by the time you're getting to 16, unasahaulika.
By the way, 16 when
I'm talking about soccer.
Yeah.
Like
Yes,
even
soccer.
soccer. So when you're
Yeah.
getting 14, 15,
Yeah.
like maybe you'll just do high school up and apale, whatever. And see, that's how Nani was discovered. Is it not McDonald? Nani? Oliech. Oliech.
Yeah.
High school walikuwa huko shule gani? I think walikuwa shule moja.
Oliech went to multiple schools.
Yeah.
Oliech was in
Kakamega.
his brother in Kakamega High.
Yeah. You see, when you look at most rugby players, most guys who like, so in the rugby fraternity, rugby world, you find a guy is playing for high school, but anachezea mean machine.
Anachezea club.
Anachezea club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like,
Analipwa, yeah, ni
are
mchezaji
you
wa
getting
kulipwa,
paid
yeah.
or
Yes.
what not? You
They're
know,
paid.
I don't know. But you
They're
see,
paid.
okay, so there's a form of trying to nurture talent, but I don't know. It's like it's always, and then in addition to that,
So,
you have again the corruption, the cartels. You know, it's a money making scheme. You know, like you remember those guys who were raided because they had I can't remember. The guy was raided because he had Olympic career jerseys, shorts, whatever.
No, that was you're talking about my former swimming teacher, Mr. Ekumbo.
Was it a combo?
Yeah,
Who was
it
raided?
was, yes, it was Mr. Ekumbo.
You know,
Yeah,
like
it was Ali's
higher.
teacher,
You
Yeah, that
have
was my former swimming teacher.
you have 10 athletes,
Yeah.
but you've got 500. The contingent is 500, but out of the 500, 10 are the ones who are going to run.
Yeah.
Wote wanafanya nini?
Na kids wamepatiwa moja, zingine zimekuwa
Si ndio?
huko kando.
Ama
Yeah.
zingine maybe zimetolewa another site, I won't call it out, but yeah. Not Azon, you know. So it's a lot, and then we're getting an insight into how athletics is. Tumepewa rugby. Soccer we can see. Now athletics, it's like we're just seeing, like, okay, what's going on. But now with the insights, with Louis, insights, you sort of start to understand, like, okay, we didn't have the best. What happened? Because even the qualifying and how the runners themselves, at unaambiwa because umefika hapa umequalify, and the only way you fika there is because you've got chums.
It's because you have money.
Because you've got money.
Because now when Louis was talking about a university student, someone who's a student in an American university,
Right.
I'm thinking in Kenya, by the time you're an athlete in an American university, that means, like you've not been able to make the cut on because Kenya is very competitive.
Right.
So I get very, I get very surprised. Now, on the women's marathon, they're going to be running, I think it's on Sunday. I was very surprised
it's the last
initially.
event.
It's a last event. I was very surprised initially that Sharon Lokedi was missing until she was brought back, because she'd been performing very well. But now I think with
Sharon was a wildcat, and they had put in Bridget Kosgei.
Yeah.
But apparently, she has an injury that has been bothering her for the last 3 years. So Bridget Kosgei pulled out, and that's now when Sharon Lokedi
yeah,
was picked.
was picked. Yeah. So I can understand the complication with the marathon part, because a marathon is not something that you can just hold a trial for. Like a marathon is like a boxing fight. You only can do a certain number
Yes.
within a year. So I can understand that part. But why we don't have, like 10,000 meter and 5,000 meters trials back home in Kenya, that is, or rather 10,000 meters. Why we don't have those in Kenya, that is just
You remember?
mind-blowing.
I think when Louis was the last time we were talking about, we were doing a show, thinking about Kiptum and even discussing like athletics, and he was giving his predictions and how we were finding it hard. Like, okay, who are we going to select if you're going to run a marathon? You're like, okay, so we've got Kiptum and Eliud.
We had Eliud.
One more slot.
Yeah,
and we're
there's
like,
only one
okay,
more
because
slot,
we're looking for the best, somebody who we know this, that, the other, right?
And there's multiple.
There are multiple
people
guys waiting.
who've won a couple of
Yes.
this major marathon.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, how are we going to try and size up and get the best of the best? But now from what we're being told, sometimes it's not the best of the best, it's the best of the best of who have money.
Who have money.
And that can explain why the type of performance. Because for the longest time, when you hear 800, who did you think of? Ngugi.
Yes.
Unajua hii Kombosho.
Yeah.
Then after Ngugi, who replaced him? Rudisha. You're like, this one, yeah.
And the record is his, by the way.
David Rudisha, Ngugi, even 1,500, 3,000, tunajua, hii ni yetu. We are not even concerned.
Yeah.
Right? For a while. But then, again, I think the chickens are coming home to roost.
Yeah. Apasley is asking, how can Kenya change this? That's a complicated question that needs an episode of its own.
Not even that, because the question would be, because another question would be, like, okay, who does the buck stop with? Like, okay, who can we say, like, where?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, who does a backstop with? That's a good question.
Who can be Salimiwa?
The backstop with the Ministry of Sports, na boss wake, and then it trickles down to everybody else. At the end of the day, it needs the whole system to be in a smooth flowing process. Like the corruption needs to be cleared out throughout. Like the Ministry of Sports needs to ensure it holds the federations accountable. The federations now, they themselves need to ensure that they handle everybody else that comes in between. IOC, Olympic Association of Kenya, and all these other things that are under Athletics Kenya, all these bodies under Athletics Kenya, are also held accountable. So, and it goes down up the grassroots level, back up to where it comes down to where you're teaching your son how to run. It's simple as that.
Yeah, and then like Slay is also asking, man, hizi ma questions are Slay's na kuja late sasa, and these are full episode questions. How and when did this cartel start? Out of curiosity, they have become problematic.
Well, corruption started in Kenya.
So easy up,
they've been around.
They've been around, and they've been
they're so refined. Now they're so refined. It's become
it's like a well-oiled machine.
Yes, it's second nature. These guys know exactly what to do. It's back to what Chief Louis was talking about with the police recruitment. Sijui nini, forest rangers, nini lipa kitu kidogo ndio mtu aingishwe. Those fees, by the way, have even been called and asked, a boss, there's an opportunity that has shown up. Kuna recruitment ya polisi na kuja naingia hapa, lakini they need 300K.
Yeah,
for the application.
And then,
I'm like,
yeah,
300K for the application.
People pay for these positions. And then Brown Chuga Nasema, it's the same way with soccer training. Camps here, which are now for profits, and basketball with the now AAU tournaments, which are currently affecting the development of basketball. So America is also seeing this to a certain extent. The only good thing with America is that there are so many other entities besides these government ones that develop sports.
Correct.
So at least, like even despite this corruption and nini, there's still so many other entities, like high schools are very good, like sporting facilities.
Oh yeah, like when you look at like Texas, see football, American football in Texas is like, it's like what do you call it? It's like,
yeah, it is huge. Yeah, it's huge. It's like a league. It's like a proper.
It's a league of its own.
Yeah, it has a lot of viewership. It has a very high viewership.
And here's the thing, I think for like basketball and for American football, I believe that what you see, the product that you see, you're getting really truly the best of the best.
Yeah.
Because there's the like the vetting, the scouting, like these guys put in work. Even the product that you see playing on an American football field, you're literally seeing the best of the best.
They start from Pee-wee, man. Those guys start from Pee-wee. Have you seen those kids playing in Pee-wee?
Soccer, you have to have money.
Yeah, it's a big deal. How I knew, like sports is on another level when I first came to the US before I was aware. When I went to Montgomery College, right here in Maryland, I asked around, like where do guys play basketball? Because at that point, I was feeling like,
you had skills.
Yeah, I felt like I felt like I still had an opportunity of making it to the NBA. So I asked around where people play basketball, and then I was shown. So I went and played there. Guys who are very good. So went playing. I played for a week or two. Then I came to find out that there's another place where the actual, and these guys were good, like they were cooking me. But I was like, they improved too bad. Bado mean mgeni US. But then I came to learn that there's another place where the actual team now trains. These guys who are playing over here, these are just random guys.
It's pick up.
Yeah, it's pick up.
Pick up basketball.
That's when I knew it's over.
Your dreams were over.
Yes, that's when I knew it was crashed.
And they were not real.
Yeah, and those guys were not real. Those are guys who had jobs, like mtu anatoka and then anafanya job.
They're weekend only athletes.
Yes, that's when I knew, holy shit, like Harper.
And that is just Montgomery.
That was Montgomery College. It's not even it's nowhere even in the pecking order.
You haven't gone to Gaithersburg, you haven't gone to Kerea, because not even that, you find that here's another thing. There's so many facilities, there's so many courts.
Yeah.
Even just within the county.
Yeah.
That it's you don't struggle, right? There's so many facilities.
Yeah.
What are we lacking in Kenya? Facilities. We don't.
Okay.
Do we have? We don't. So that's an issue.
Yeah. Let's give a chance to Louis here so that we can let him go. And then to tenda kwa Mika. These are the issues that were happening in the Olympics. There was a controversy over a lady boxer who people were claiming that that she was a man. She's actually won the gold medal. I just learned today that she actually won the gold medal.
Yes.
She did.
Then there was the controversy of Jamaicans withdrawing from different track races, and then there was the Noah Lyles 200 meters. So I'm gonna start with you, Louis, and then we're gonna go to Mika as we get to wrap up the show. Louis.
All right, so this is just to wrap up, I guess.
Yeah, we are wrapping up now. Tunajua tumekuweka beyond the agreed
I think
time.
if we had a longer session, probably would have spoken about quite a lot. There's a lot of stuff that we had to pay attention to, transport facilities and accommodation for our sporting athletes, giving them an opportunity for acclimatization. There is no way you can get a sportsman to come to a foreign country 3 or 4 days prior, where the weather is difficult or maybe different from wherever they come from, and expect them to perform at par. We have countries like the United States here, where we had Gabi and her team. They were spending almost 2 to 3 months in Europe, in France and the UK, competing with their friends whom they're going to compete with in the Olympics, and also acclimatizing from the kind of different weather patterns of which they get to experience in the different regions that they come from. So, it's Mary Morale was there, I think, a week before her competitions, and she finished. She's back. She's already back at home, and nobody really cares about that. There's a lot of stuff that actually really matters, that goes deep down to the contribution of the tour performance. But again, I'm glad and humbled to be part of this conversation. I'm hoping that it might reach a few people of interest, and just looking forward to some changes being made. A lot was made after the outcry in the Rio 2016, and there was some improvement in 2020. I think that's when we had quite a number of medals, if I'm not wrong. 2024 just collapsed for some reason, and we really are all not very happy about that. We're hoping that 2028 is going to be better, and we're praying for good results. And let's keep on supporting our teams. Let's keep on supporting our athletes. I have seen quite some negativity that comes out of our own communities where, when you perform well, everybody will be cheering you up. And then when you do not perform up to par as they expected, nobody wants to hear about you, or they have all these negative comments all over the place. That's kind of like a little bit demeaning, to this fellow that spent years and months of hard work, and probably they even have other jobs just to compensate their daily livelihood. That should be a habit and an attitude that you need to go ahead and put to the code. All in
Okay.
all, thank you so much, guys.
Okay, but Bluey, just give us a moment. We're gonna give you the last word. I wanna go to Mika first to talk about these other Olympic issues: the boxing controversy, the Jamaican withdrawals, and Noah Lyles with the COVID. Mika, twende kazi, and then we're gonna give Louis the last word.
Vizuri tuongele dakika saba. Anyway, uh, we're going to start with boxing, and it is that this is something that I was actually very looking forward to. What about Iman Khalif won the Olympic gold medal for the 66 kg category. This is after a lot of disgusting and horrible things were said about her. Uh, and also remember there was another boxer. This is Lin Yu Ting, who was also subjected to most of this controversy, but most of the controversy went to Iman Khalif, and especially after we had an Italian boxer who decided to just quit a fight and pretending that she was hit by a man. Now, what really was disgusting about this is that Iman Khalif was born a woman, and she is one of those women who, how can I say? I don't want to use the word intersex because they do use the word intersex, but it's usually you're a woman, you have women biological, a woman biological reproductive system, but the fact that by some anomaly you produce more testosterone than what is considered normal for women, and that doesn't make you a man. It's just the same way we have men who have more estrogen than testosterone. That doesn't make them women. It's just men who have produced a lot of estrogen, and it's so sad when sports come in between a dream of so many of young girls who are born, especially with their bodies not reacting the way people expect a girl's body to react, and then now they have to be looked at like men and being called men, and even finding a professional boxer, finding a boxer refusing to fight them because they want to push an agenda, and all this is because of an international body, the IBA, which is a very corrupt body that is based out of Russia, that did some tests, and those tests, they never told people which tests they did. They never shared the result of the test. They just said that these were men, and leading to this controversy. So for me, I would like both of them to win the gold medal. And this has led to actually the IOC saying that it's looking at kicking out boxing from the Olympics because the way the IBA is handling this matter, and there's been a lot of controversy based on judging. A lot of teams feel like they were hard done, especially in the men's category, and we might be coming to a point whereby we see an election, an Olympics without boxing. So I just want to send it back to you guys in the studio and tell me, what do you think about it? How would you feel if Olympics didn't have any boxing anymore?
That would be weird, considering now there's breakdancing. That would be very weird. An Olympics with breakdancing as a sport, but no boxing. That would be very problematic. I mean,
because some of the best heavyweights ever,
best boxers,
they started in the Olympics.
They went through Olympics.
Yeah,
Foreman.
Dance went pro.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
That would be
come
strange.
From,
Even Holyfield through Olympics.
all of them.
Because somebody was telling me, it's like, breakdancing.
Sweet
And
Pea.
what do you
Remember
break
Sweet Pea?
Yeah,
Pranav
yeah.
Yeah, all those guys are
Let you
Olympians.
box, breakdancing. I'm like, huh? Alafu naangalia hapo bora hapo virtual study. I'm seeing guys are dancing.
Yeah,
I'm
I know that to me that's why certain countries have a lot of gold medals, because now how do you start training? We're already having problems managing our track and field athletes. Then now we start managing break dancers to go to the Olympics.
But we have to qualify first.
Yeah.
So it will be very strange not to see boxing, because I've always known it's a staple to be in the Olympics.
Yeah, but boxing is an Olympic staple.
Yes.
So I don't know, Mika. That would be problematic. Back to you.
Moving on, we're moving on to athletics, whereby this has been one of the Olympics whereby we have not seen one of the mainstay teams participating in the short races. That's the Jamaicans, both the men's and the females, and the male and the female fields. We had withdrawals, and we had complaints from Jamaican athletes. We start by Fraser Price Jackson withdrew from the key events in Paris. Remember, she withdrew. Price said at first she said she withdrew because she wasn't allowed into the warm-up area early on, which didn't allow her to warm up. And then later on, a statement was put out by the Jamaican Federation that she withdrew because of injury. Sharika Jackson also had withdrew from the 200 meter due to injury. She started off by withdrawing first from the 100 meters, then went to the 200 meters. These were athletes who had just ran a few months ago, and they were ready and raring for the Olympics. I don't see how, Louis, unless I'm wrong, I do not see how you would come to the games with an injury and then hope that you will recover by the time of the race. Do you think there's a federation which would allow you to carry nearly 3/4 of your teams injured, knowing that they're going to be able to, hoping that they'll be cured before the race? Will they even be race ready?
Well, Sharika Jackson suffered 2 injuries the beginning of the season. She had an ankle injury, I think, late last year. And then in preparation for the beginning of this season with her new coach, who happens also to be, I think, no, her manager is her husband, reported that she also had, again, another torn something on her ankle as well. But she performed well in the Jamaican national trials, and that is what guaranteed her to make it over to the Olympics. So when she got over to the big stage, she felt that it was going to, the injury was going to be disturbed, and it would hinder her from participating towards the end of the season. So probably they had their own decisions to make. Now remember, the Olympics not paying you. She already has sponsors. She already has endorsements. How about she prepares for the remaining Diamond League meets? If I was her, I would do the same thing.
Okay, fair sense. But then what about the other Jamaican athletes who have actually come out and said that there have been poor preparation? There have been accusation of people saying that there's some athletes who have been paid. I don't really believe that. Yeah, I don't think you can pay an athlete a lot not to want to go and compete for the gold. But there have been accusations from some athletes saying that the Jamaicans were not did not prepare pretty well for this, and they're being faced by some of the issues that we were: lack of preparation, lack of facilities, lack of support and equipment. Do you feel that this might be one of the reasons why, even in the other fields, not even just athletics, we're seeing Jamaica not performing the way it's usually supposed to do?
Well, Jamaica are having the same issues like we are having in Kenya. The only difference is that their corruption is not as deep as ours. We had corruption cases with their women's soccer team. Remember, there's a time when they had to even do a GoFundMe in order for them to raise funds for them to go to the World Cup. And they complained that they're not going to play until they get paid first. I think they were paid by FIFA, and they demanded to be paid right at the stadium. Is it at the stadium or wherever the games were before they went back home, because they're not going to get the money. So corruption is there. Facilities issues, yes, we understand, but for the short sprints and the races that we're having, we've had some of the Jamaican athletes, the great ones, changing coaches a bit often lately, and also they've been harbored by injuries. Elaine Thompson-Herah has had an injury for a whole year. That's why she did not even show up the whole of this season at all. For Sharika, we knew about her injury, and it's barred her twice already. Brianna Williams, she's kind of just like had a slow pace all of a sudden. Nobody really understands the cause behind it. She got beat several times in the trial. And we have the twins, the Clayton twins. Tia was able to make time, and so they're trying to also nurture and bring in the young ones into the senior level. Anything else why they might not be performing very well as such for this particular year? I'm not very sure, but I heard Usain Bolt mentioned somewhere else, and again, please don't quote me. It will be very difficult to get another male team like the Asafa Powell and Blake, or Johan Blake and him, and a few others that they put on the Jamaican jersey before. So I think the problem that they're having is bringing up the youth to take over, and Sherika might also be seen a way out. Elaine Thompson might be seen a way out, just the same way as Shelly and Fraser Price.
Okay,
Wow.
thank you, Louis. Omosha, Lee, and Mike, mkona maoni before we close up the Olympic session.
No, here Jamaicans, it's been a disappointment because there had been a build-up between a U.S.-Jamaican rivalry, which did not live up on both the men's and the women's side. I mean, of course, the men's have struggled since Bolt and Johan Blake came out of the picture, and then Asafa Pyle, of course. It's like they're trying to build up another team. So it's been a disappointment because Jamaica has a lot of fans, especially in Kenya, especially of the female persuasion. But it's been interesting, and I'd like to know what direction Jamaica would take, and especially those ladies. I would really love to see them come back. It was very sad to see how Shelly-Ann Fraser went out because of the organization of the games and not allowing her in the stadium. And this is a sport of very short distances, very small margins. If you're not in the right mental mindset, if you just have to walk another 30 meters to get to another gate, that's probably gonna destabilize you
of course.
in the preparation. So I can understand why she had to pull out. Mike.
No, I was gonna say, okay, irrespective of injury or not, that part of them not being allowed into the stadium, such that apparently they had to walk a mile. They had to walk quite a distance, 30 minutes or whatever it was, still needs to be investigated. Because, and then, from what she was saying, that, the rules were changed the previous night, but they were not informed. Right? So, again, those are some of the things that, you question, the authorities, the persons, the personnel, the people operating this thing, the people handling this thing, the decision making has been wanting. Mara wanajaribu kufanyia Faith Kipyegon madharau, then they reinstate, So, yes, but the lack of the Jamaicans in the short distances.
Yeah, the absence has been felt.
My friend. Because for the women, it was so loud.
Yeah.
It was just not the same.
Okay.
Omosh.
The Jamaicans, I don't know. For me, I'm not disappointed. I think there's more to these stories of them pulling out and all the things that had been happening around, and maybe we'll never know because we're not inside their whole athletic body. But they are also going through a retooling where the
transition.
It's a transition. Yes, where the younger ones are coming in and the older ones were being given a chance to show up for Olympics. Alafu wakapata kumbe kuna wengine hapa who have medicine for them. So they didn't feature in as much. And if you noticed, the team that was featuring quite a bit was Great Britain. Like all of a sudden, those, again, descendants of the Caribbeans.
But then they were reclaiming. Remember, they were the problem for the US for a long time.
Correct, but you're right. They're reclaiming. They're coming back. But what we had seen over the past was always US Jamaica.
True.
Right, and we can go back to at least I'd say like 3 to 4 Olympics. Now you see, Great Britain are coming out. You see other guys are there. And then, of course, with the population,
South African men,
China,
4x1.
Boss, South Africa,
4x1.
In fact, really? I wish Botswana had a full team of Letsiles.
4x1, yeah.
I wish they had a full team of Letsiles where guys were, on top of their game. So we are seeing a new transition. It's no longer the powerhouses that we have been used to seeing, right? And even them, they are threatened. So they're going to have to go back and retool. So for the next 4 years, I'm sure now they're looking and saying, hey, those Africans, we need to watch them. We need to come up with something. Na kuna vile wanaweza kuja kufuruga watu hapa, pengine wakuje wachukue wasee waende wakimbie for them. You never know.
Wapatiwe brown envelope.
Of course.
Facilitation
I mean,
fee.
because the whole point is you're planning for the next 4 years. So what is your plan for the next 4 years, and who are these people that you're targeting that are going to be part of your staple for the next 4 years? Because next is Wilds. Then after Wilds, you go back to Nini.
Tebogo reminds me of Frankie Fredericks.
Yes.
Frankie
Yes.
Fredericks, Namibia.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Okay.
it's really sweet to see that happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Overall, Olympics, man, if Kenya can get...
Ngoja kwanza.
Go ahead.
Ngoja niweke kenye nilikuwa nataka kusema because hold up. So for me closing out the Olympic session, I was going to ask you, we spoke about the Olympic the whole show. We spoke about a part of the Olympic the previous show. We've spoken about the negative of the Olympics, what we didn't like. Now to close out the Olympic segment, what are some of the positive things that you've seen about this Olympic?
You're asking me or all of us?
Ooh,
All of you.
That's a tough question. Let me try to answer this from
Diplomatically.
a polite
No, anything you
Yeah.
enjoyed about the Olympics, anything kitu yote tu uliona mzuri.
No, I mean, the positive thing that I'd say, I mean, I saw a lot of black people representing so many other parts of the world.
I'm with you on that.
And I really loved it. I really loved it, and in the sense that hata kama ni Italian, if they're black, we're gonna show them support. Which shows Africa is not only the land that's blessed with natural resources and minerals, but I think when it comes to sporting talent, it's undoubtedly the best place on earth. Because think about it, the blacks in Europe, they're a minority. So it's a small minority, but they're beating the whole population.
They are the majority in the sports.
They are the majority in the sports. So yes, so that to me, is one of those great things. I thought it was, an interesting idea to have the opening ceremony in a river on paper. It was a great idea, but the execution, sijui kama ilikuwa ni kwa sababu ya mvua, I just became so tacky. I was like, afadhali tu watu wangetembea tu stadium, ile opening ceremony ya kawaida.
Wind around.
Yeah, so it wasn't memorable to me. Like the way you see people walking and wearing those outfits. All those guys were wearing ponchos because it was raining. And it was
you
on a
missed
river.
out on the outfits.
Yeah, and then it was a boat passing by, so yeah, kuna vile tu it was just blah for me. Mike, I don't know. To me, I don't know. The positives were not too many.
For me, I would say, to be honest, okay, I'll go with your sentiment of the black folks, and then the other sentiment for me is it's something that comes around every 4 years. So I've enjoyed it thus far. It's filled up our time or my time to the point that when this is over, come Sunday, I'll be like, Allah, what am I going to do now? So, because it's become part and parcel, and we've had sporting event after each other, back to back to back to back, and this then comes into it. The other part for me positive is the fans. The fans, man, and the home support.
That is very true.
That is
very
God.
true.
And the fans.
I think this is the most attended Olympics.
Guys were there deep.
And I think it's also location where France is. The fact that I just think that they are looser with letting people in, because we didn't see this when there was Olympics in London. It wasn't and I don't know if it's because
London, China, Japan. Okay, Japan, COVID. Japan, COVID. Brazil,
correct.
the stadiums are never as full as this one.
No. But this one here, guys, people have been there. They've been cheering them on. And not so much that you're cheering on your countrymates. No, you're cheering on an Olympian. And so if it's somebody who is doing good, guess what? They're being cheered. Like, these guys are not holding back. So, unajua, especially when you look at things like long jump or izo zingine pole
jump,
vaulting or whatever, where you know
put.
somebody says, okay, you know, they are over there, clap, and the whole stadium is clapping. You had 70,000 people clapping for this person who's running down and then jumping. It just watching that, you're like, man, I need to be in this environment, you know. And we started with rugby, you know, like the Kenyans who got there when they were when rugby was on, and so seeing the progression, the fans for me actually have made this. The other part I think is the facilities, the stadium, and then having the coverage. The US coverage has normally been bad, simply bad.
It always is.
I must say that they have whatever it is that they're doing within Peacock and NBC Sports and whatever.
It's a mess.
No, for me, I think my experience is they have made it very interactive.
This was a very well covered event.
Correct.
You could get whatever
you want, even if it was tricycles. I don't know what. You just go, you move, and you check. You see live, boom. And if you're even looking at, because what I was trying to do was track it online, so see like what are the events for the day for track and field, and I look at it online. That thing was it was real time. Like whenever the race is over, boom, it's over. It tells you the time, who won, who didn't won, what the times are, blah, blah, which race is coming up next, and you know, so you're not caught unawares, flat-footed. And the coverage has been really good. For the US, I gotta commend them because they have sucked over the years. This one, whatever these guys had been doing the past events, they figured it out, and that whole interactiveness of it, man, it's been, for me, I've loved it. So, you know, those are the positives that I'm seeing, and I can't wait for another Olympics. Whether it's coming stateside, I must say, I'm lucky to possibly be in the same country, having Olympics in the same country. Meaning, I've been in this country for World Cup, Olympics, sasa Olympics ingine nakam. Wow, it's an honor that I had. I got the chance of attending World Cup and Olympics here.
So World Cup ilikuwa 94.
Yes, I did that.
Na games are 68.
ISO
84.
And now we have one that's coming. That granted, it's gonna be up at LA. It's just awesome to see that this thing has gone around and come back. It's going back to LA since '84, which is really it's really weird because '84. See that was Carl Lewis. I mean,
hizo eras,
LA
Coliseum.
LA, yeah. I'm like,
I think for me I'll echo your sentiments. You know, like seeing Blake's representing European countries that for the longest time
Makaburu,
walai, you know, and then you know some beautifully fine mamas over there representing like Germany, Italy. You're like,
that Germany one, I was like, okay, she's German, like she's.
And also for me, I think what has been nice has been the absence.
What about the Irish? What about the Irish one?
Irish, yes.
The Nigerian Irish, the one who's running for them.
There was an Irish who was running for
Which
Nigeria.
race was that?
No, there's a Nigerian who's Irish.
A Nigerian who's Irish. Okay,
you're nearly hatter.
Yeah.
But for me, I can say the upsets, where we're looking at, it's not longer the same. So like now volleyball, it's no longer the US and Italy handling. It's fine. They were machujo because you know they're like being superpowers.
Yeah.
Like the 4x1. I was telling you the 4x1. The US lost.
And I didn't realize that 4x1, that those Nyangaos have not cooler that thing in 20 years.
Who? The US?
US.
Yes. For 4x1?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
20.
Wow.
20.
You see,
that's a tough race.
The
Jamaicans are the
Jamaicans
ones who've been dominating it.
Yeah. The
Because
Jamaicans have been
they've
dominating
been
for a minute.
dropping. I don't know. They were disqualified. I don't know.
This one was the handoff. This guy overran. He overshot.
It's
so it has been something.
It's the same script. Same script. See, even Nani Kalous was pissed.
So I mean, it's all in all. I think I mean, there's some people who hate the French, apart from other things. But Mika told us to look at something good. So that is something positive, I think.
Okay, Mika, wrap it up for us.
Now I want Louis to tell us what is so positive about this.
He saw his body on Manyala run.
Uh, well, me being a competitive person myself, um, and a sporty person as well, what I saw positive in this Olympics was an awakening call for Kenya. This is a time for us guys to go back to the drawing board and realize that it's not business as usual. We cannot continue being comfortable. Other countries are also watching us clearly, and they're doing whatever they can be able to do to come and beat us. And yes, they have literally shown us best. So this is a time for Barnaba Korir and Choge Keino to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. Otherwise, we would have been sitting nice and comfy and be forgotten like Morocco and Algeria in athletics.
That is so interesting you mentioned that, because
That
at
is
the
very
time
true.
Morocco and Algeria were quite
Quite.
powerhouses. You know, Hisham El Gerouj.
Even Ethiopia. Have you realized
yeah.
Ethiopia is fading?
Ethiopia is fading too.
That is very badly.
Ethiopia is fading too. That's why they're trying to elbow out Faith Kipyegon, because they know that they're fading. We've been owning them, you know, like the last couple of years, especially in the marathons. We've been owning them like dollar bills. Washeke Shays, Washeke says, Washeke,
Say it slowly.
Washeke says she's on the phone.
This can tie you.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, and I don't know why Washeke unangoja mpaka saa zile unaona
Yeah.
ndio hiyo time.
Before Mjiko Asheke,
Yeah.
let me finish up with my positive, and then we'll go to Asheke, and then you can wrap up the show.
Yeah.
So for me, my positives for this Olympics, number one, Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
There's a way. No. For me, no. Let me tell you why. Snoop, right? There's a way whereby he brought in a viewership that normally will not be part of it, and also the way that he from a marketing perspective and from a growth perspective of sports and everything, he brought in a demographic that usually would not have been looked at. And also another thing is that he brought out also the selling. Remember, LA is hosting the next Olympics, right? Him being there, him doing all the things he's doing is basically like a handover, selling LA
passing
already
the
to the
torch.
world.
Okay,
On how it's
fair
going.
enough.
Remember, hizo Olympics kwa kujiuza pia. It's not
Correct.
about Stuart we are hosting and inaishi hapo. As much as you're hosting, you're also selling and you're marketing yourself. Number two for me was the fact that we can clean the environment. If the Seine River was cleaned twice to allow it to be swum on, it means that we can fix this environment. We can reverse pollution.
Nairobi River.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, that is something that people should look at as a positive from that we can actually clean up the environment that we live in. Number three for me was the number of new medalists. It was a dawn of a new change. People were being put on check. People were being shown that there's a new generation that's coming up. And what does that prove? There's a continuity in the sports. The last Olympics actually were showing zilikuwa zimesell vibaya, and even the performances. Like, these Olympics, we've had somebody break five world records 5 times. Every
Correct.
time Makena hit and a break world record, next and a break world record, next and a break world record. We've had records broken on this Olympic in such a way that, like, we've had very young medalists that have come up, and you look at it and like, damn, there is a future in these sports that are coming in. So for me, that was good. And then another thing, as you said, that black demographic that's representing other countries. But me also another thing, and the main thing for me is the number of new countries that have won medals in this Olympics.
St. Lucia,
Yeah, that's been a positive
Man.
for me.
Botswana.
Nilisikia uchungu Shakari akishindwa, lakini pia mwenye alimshinda deserve it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, and she didn't look bad either.
Absolutely not.
Hey,
Supulicious.
huyu alitoka Nduki.
And also her
just
country
saying.
deserved it.
Yeah.
Yes, they had never won.
Yeah.
She doesn't like the 200, but at least she got a silver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
That for me, that was a positive for me. That
Kabisa.
was
that was a big positive. Aya, sasa washeke tushike shimu yake.
Aya, thank you for calling the One Mic Show.
I think Ali should welcome her with his
Hello.
She sells seashells at the seashore in Seychelles.
and her name is Washeke.
Washeke, Washeke, talk to
Can you
us.
focus?
Yes. Sorry.
We are focused, Mayor.
Sorry, Basi.
Okay, for me, I had to call it because men will not get it.
Aye.
There
Okay,
are two. I'm not saying that in a bad way.
it's
but
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
There were two positives for me as a woman and someone who's raising a daughter. One of them was, positive body image. We saw athletes at their highest level in different shapes and forms excelling. Typically, we are peddled that to be fit and to be able to excel, it's only one Eurocentric shape. But what we saw is very different. We have people that are not exactly size 0, but they were at the top of their game and winning gold medals. So to me, that was so exciting. Number 2 is, typically, and this affects women more than men, is women are told that they age out from a sport at a young age. But you see, Simone Biles, is it 25 or 26?
Yeah, and that's very
But
old
she's
for gymnastics.
Yes, and if you look at in the past, the way the gymnastic competitors looked like, they looked like kids, and they were 16. The ones
no,
who were
they didn't look
winning
like kids. They were kids
the
actually.
1,000. I'm sorry?
They were kids.
What?
Kinagabi Johnson.
Okay,
They
yeah,
were kids.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, at 16. But even their shape, like gymnastic, it has evolved. It's okay to be muscular. It's okay to be healthy. It's okay to step away and take care of your mental well-being. To me, that's, something. Just being that you can compete at any age and you don't have to step away just because you attain 20. To me, that's key, because this is a challenge that women face. Pressure that if you are a certain age, then as a woman, it's only downhill from there. If you get to 40, you have nothing to give to the wall, or you can't excel. So to me, those are two things that I've seen consistently, and I'm so excited with the advances. Also, this Olympic is the first Olympic where we had equal men and women competing. Before, we had more men, but this one we had equal number of men and women competing in all sports. So that's all I wanted to say, because I knew it wasn't it's important, but I'm not sure if you men got it. But that, to me, something like it's close to my heart, and that's all I wanted to say.
Oh, thank you, Washeke. And actually, to add on what you said, Washeke, I also saw on that women's side thing, and of course these are things that sometimes maybe men may pass by and they may not see, is that on the beach volleyball, I saw Egyptian women, dressed in actually very comfortable clothing, but fully covered up. Now, here, like I always say, I will never speak for Muslim women because I'm not a Muslim woman, but I hear what a lot of Muslim women say who love sports, who love swimming, and this is not me saying. So I think demonstrating that it's okay to dress, because in a sport the idea is clothed in a way that you feel comfortable, both physically and also mentally, and it was interesting to see that they were kitted in a way in which they covered themselves, because in some of these sports, let's be honest, because a big part of the sporting audience is male, so women sometimes are pushed to dress in certain ways that some of them are not comfortable with.
Right.
But I think it's good to have like the kind of dressing that like the women who are not comfortable in wearing the very tiny stuff can have an option to wear something else. So I also thought that was something very, very positive, especially in beach volleyball, where there's an encouragement for women to wear a certain type of wear.
But wako beach wavae to. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
I have a question on dress.
Yes.
Why? If you look at the men in track and field, they wear biker shorts, but why are women need to wear hot pants? I've never gotten it. Why? Why can't
the
women
bikini
also
bottom?
be allowed to?
Comfort.
Huh?
Is a short comfort.
So the men, I'm not getting what when you say comfort, Mika. Is it that the men are comfortable with the biker shorts, but the women are not? No, but what about the women?
The women.
What
How
about
come
the
women
women?
don't wear
How come the
bikers?
women don't wear
But
this?
then unajua nini unavaa pia nguo ya least resistance, right? Because you want to like symmetry, you want the symmetry of your body to be as natural, like as nearly as naked as you feel your body is.
But
The longer your clothes are, the more resistance uko nayo. So the shorter they are, the less resistance uko nayo.
Let's
So
hear
it
from a
gives them an
woman.
advantage.
Let's hear from a woman.
gives them an-
Washeke.
Me nakwambia like from a sports perspective, see from a woman's perspective. I'm telling you from a sports perspective on how you're dressing because at that point is you're trying to get yourself an advantage of running.
Mick, I'll tell you why I disagree with you. But let's hear from Washeke.
From a sports perspective.
Yes,
From a woman's perspective, you're missing.
Mick, I'll also tell you from a sports perspective why I disagree with you. But let's hear from Washeke. Let's hear from Washeke.
I mean, like, I feel that, I understand the physics and what Mika is talking, but I feel it's more like sexualizing women because look at how, like, women in volleyball, how they're made to dress. So, I mean, I kind of see your point, Mika, but then again, I feel like this was purposely done because, like, a lot of things, women bodies are sexualized. So why can't we invent clothes that allow to feel comfortable?
See, I will not argue on that. Me, I was answering your questions when your question on athletics, when you're asking why men run on biker shorts and why women run on certain things. But what I'm saying, if a man could get away with running with shorter shorts, they will get away with it.
But this,
like if they could get away with running with shorter shorts, they will get away with it.
Okay,
it's just that pia unataka short iko na
point,
comfort inakupatia. Alafu unajua kuna kitu ndio raf ile ikiingia katikati ya bengo na nini like when you're running ikiingia katikati ya bengo na groin hapa
ni madhogodhanio.
So pia that's why pia unaona navanga hizo mabaika because naweza kwambia kama msee nilikuwa nacheza ball ulikuwa unacheza bila ngodha na unadunga baika.
Okay.
Kwa zile ngodha ilikuwa kiingia hivi ama ingie lunch na unakimbia itakukata na bado inakusumbua kukimbia.
Yeah. Okay, but I agree with Washeke. Like let's be very honest. Some of the designs of and I think it's all about I'm not judging or anything, but some of these designs are deliberately like designed in that way to get a bigger male audience.
Audience, yeah.
Yes, and I know especially in sports like in certain sports, like with a sport like running, 100 meters, 200 meters, the what do you call it? The margins are very small. But when you go to other sports, like volleyball and like there's a deliberate attempt because these clothes over time they have changed. But anyway, like I said, like I'm not one of those who will
no sex sells.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Sex sells, right? The biggest consumers of sports is men. So apart from let's be honest, women are not going to perform the way men are going to perform. So apart from the sporting side of it, you have to keep them enticed to hapo kwa hiyo TV waangalie. Women's bodies are beautiful. Showcase the bodies as they're playing the sport. You've got men hooked up twice.
So
it's simple as that.
So you agree? Women.
No, I agree with that. Hiyo sijakatata kabisa. Mimi nilikuwa najibu swali ya 100 meters ya mbona wengine over bike na wengine over short fupi. I was answering from a sports perspective. But when it comes to sexualizing, yes, I agree on that. Sex sells. Everything in this world is sold sexually. Hata gari. Well, let me tell you, ask you, why do you have an advertisement for a Ferrari with a woman, like an advert for a sports car with a woman on it? The woman doesn't talk about the engine performance, torque, and in it. That's what people look for. They buy a car. But then if I'm driving the car and I have a hot woman in that car, most people who actually don't have that trees that only get and pull you them. So yes, sex sells in everything, all aspects. Other sports, sex sells.
Okay, Washeke, give us your last word.
Well, I'm just passing a message. It's not mine. I'm just passing a message from Slay. Slay said she enjoyed all the eye candy from first generation African immigrants that have been meddling. All the podiums, beginning with that, he's a Longhorn alumni. I think he won silver in the decathlon. I think his name is Leo the Great or Leo the German or something. And kwa hayo machache, thank you so much, Louis, for sharing all your knowledge. And I think in your capacity with all you know, you will do great if you are given opportunity to grow and market our sports. So, I mean, maybe something to consider. I know there's a lot of politics, but I think that you will do really great, and hopefully someone recognizes that and gives you the opportunity. And good night, everyone.
Thank you, Washeke.
Thank you. Thank you, Washeke.
Wahenga walinena kilicho na mwanzo hakina budi kuwa na mwisho. Meli imetia nanga. We are about to wrap this puppy up, Mika. Och! Sex sells, baby.
You find a way to just make me start laughing before I say bye-bye. Anyway, all in all, summer is over. Hivyo tu. I'm lost. Summer si imeisha.
Which country are you in, Bana? You take the winds while the sun is still out. You make hay.
Hakuna cha still out. Omosh, unaenda kuswim in 1 week's time. After 1 week's time, tunaingia Labor Day. After Labor Day, summer imeisha.
That's you. Me, I will continue swimming.
Wewe jaribu kuiforce. Utaiforce, unashika na wando, unashikanga na homo, unashinda kuongea, unapotea siku.
It's called a heat.
Anyway, all in all, as I was saying, summer is over. Back to school is getting back here. And we're finalizing. Remember, in 2 weeks' time, we have a guest. As we said, please come prepared with questions. Tunasemanga nyinyi ni wapenzi wachangiaji. This is the time I am seeking you and begging you. I want you to changia kabisa. Right? We don't want this to be one of those interviews where people say that we control the narrative. Mmependa kutuwekelea hivyo, mnatuambia tunaleta watu mnaogopa kupiga simu. Pigeni simu raundi hii. Tumwambia mapema nani anakaa. Mnatuambia hapa sio ogopa kuuliza maswali. Tunataka nyinyi muulize. Hata hatutaki kuongea hiyo siku. Tunataka tunyamaze nyinyi muongee. So pigeni masimu. Wale wote wanakuwa na shida na ODM na nini, pigeni simu. Tunawakubalisha tushika simu zenu. Hata kama tutakuwa tunawapatia regulation ya 2 minutes tu, bali tutawashika simu zenu. Pigeni simu, muulize maswali hiyo siku. Hiyo siku show ni yenu, si yetu. So call in. We do not want you to tell us that. We control the narrative. So mpige simu. Apart from that, in all the music streaming sites that you know, go stream Charisma Motions. It's a very nice album, very good music. You'll enjoy it.